Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
What is going on and how y'all doing this late night video recording? This is the Club of the Man 1993 and it's been a while, but I'm back here for some more baseball news, and I'm getting caught up on some baseball news as again I've been very busy. As for those of you who do not watch my other content, the man just got married, so I have a lot to catch up on, but I'm going to break these baseball videos up into 4 separate videos. And the first one is going to cover just 2 players. 2 former quality pitchers in the National League East that made their way around a couple of different teams. Injuries, of course, did hamper one. A little bit on another who had a very underrated career, I would say. But 2 guys that I definitely know were well known and were definitely, at some points, one of the better pitchers in the league. So let's talk about these 2, as these 2 announced their retirement back in May, and I did not cover it. The first one was Matt Harvey, of course, who was best known for his time with the New York Mets. He announced his retirement back on May the 5th, and he was a 7th overall pick in the 2010 draft, and he made his debut during the 2012 campaign. He made 10 starts that season, and he had a solid 2.73 ERA, and he basically showed a lot of promise, a lot of potential, and definitely, in my opinion, a Cy Young caliber player. He had the best year of his career in 2013, with 178 1/3 innings pitched, and a 2.27 ERA. He earned his only All-Star appearance that season as well. And he also finished in the top 4 in the Cy Young voting. Unfortunately, though, that season for him was cut short when he had Tommy John surgery. And he also missed the entire 2014 season while rehabbing. He had another strong season when he returned in 2015 with a 2.71 ERA and 189 1/3 innings. And then he also went on to pitch for the postseason for the Mets when the Mets won the National League pennant in 2015 and posted a 3.04 ERA and 26 2/3 of an inning. Unfortunately, though, that's when Harvey's career began to go downhill. In 2016, he suffered some injury woes, and it would lead him to doing a 4.86 ERA in just 92 2/3 innings before being shut down for the season in July that season to undergo surgery for thoracic outlet syndrome, and that he was just never the same. He struggled both in terms of results and to stay on the field. He had a 6.15 ERA and 4.46 2/3 innings work following that 2016 surgery for the rest of his career. He was designated for assignment by the Mets in early 2018, and he would go on to pitch for the Reds, Angels, Royals, and Orioles. Unfortunately, though, some drug stuff got involved as well, as he served a 60-game suspension for participating in a distribution of a prohibited drug of abuse in violation of Major League Baseball's Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program. The suspension also came after Matt Harvey testified in the trial of former communications director of the Angels, Eric Kay, who was also convicted of distributing the substances that was taken by former Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs, who passed away in July of 2019. During the trial, Harvey had testified that he had provided Skaggs with Percocet pills. Following that suspension, he returned to the mound in the minors, posting a 3.71 ERA and 70 1/3 of an inning. He would also pitch for Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic, posting a 1.29 ERA in 7 innings of work, and then he at least finished his career on a high note with that solid round with Team Italy. Overall, he had a 4.42 career ERA, a 966 1/3 of innings with 50 wins and 867 strikeouts. And it's definitely unfortunate because he had a lot of potential. And the Mets, when the Mets have been solid, yes, they've had some of their hitters, but their pitching especially, their starting pitching, especially in the mid-2010s, whenever they were a playoff contending team, and a World Series pennant winner, a National League pennant winner as well, it was based a lot around their pitching. And Matt Harvey could have easily been a part of that. But unfortunately, his injuries just really caught up to him. And again, his suspension also will put an effect on him as well. And it's very unfortunate, as he really could have been. I do believe, if healthier, he could have been a Cy Young pitcher. I do believe if he was healthy, Matt Harvey would have at least had 1 or 2 Cy Young awards, as he did deserve it. Unfortunately, though, things did not quite work out in his favor. He had a couple solid years, some bad ones as well, as he just wasn't the same, especially after that 2016 surgery that he had. But I do, of course, wish Matt Harvey the best in his retirement. And hopefully he does enjoy it and whatever he does next. Now, the second player who also announced his retirement recently that I want to address back on May the 16th is another former starting pitcher in Anibal Sanchez, who is best known, of course, for being a rookie Marlins pitcher in 2006, I believe it was, where he, at 22 years old, he threw a complete game no-hitter in just his 13th career start. But he's there. At 39 years old, he announced retirement after a solid 16-year big league career. And he was a very underrated pitcher. He was originally drafted with the Red Sox, signed with the Red Sox as an amateur signee out of Venezuela. And he would then, of course, be dealt along with Hanley Ramirez and 2 minor leaguers to the Marlins. And that was the trade that sent Marlins ace Josh Beckett to the Red Sox. He got called up in the majors for the first time in 2006. Sanchez hit the ground running. He was a 22-year-old, tossing 114 1/3 of a 2.83 ERA in only 18 appearances. And again, in his 13th appearance, he threw a complete game no-hitter against the Arizona Diamondbacks. He would go on to finish 9th in the National League Rookie of the Year voting that year. Of course, some injuries over the next few seasons did hamper him a little bit, though. But in 2010, he returned back to full health. And he would make 32 starts with a sub-4 ERA in both 2010 and 2011. He also, in 19 starts in 2012, worked a solid 3.94 ERA, which did lead him to being a free agent. And the Tigers would, of course, add him, though. Actually, before he got to be free agency, the Tigers acquired him in a trade deadline deal, which Sanchez and Omar Vizquel went to the Tigers in the trade that year. And he was excellent down the stretch and helped the Tigers win the American League Central. And he pitched 3 quality starts during the postseason. That led the Tigers, though, to re-sign Sanchez after that season and sign to a 5-year deal for $80 million that offseason. He, of course, had some solid outings. His first season in that new contract, he had a 2.57 ERA in 29 starts and 182 innings. He also won the American League ERA title that year as well and finished 4th in the Cy Young voting as well. Of course, they would come up short in the postseason, though Sanchez contributed 12 innings of 4-run ball during his American League Championship Series run that year. He also had another productive season 2014 with a 3.43 ERA and 126 innings worked. After that, though, his ERA began to climb. And, of course, at the end of 2017, his ERA with the Tigers that year was 6.41. And, of course, it led to the decline his 2018 club option. Of course, then he would make an unexpected reassurance with the Braves until 2018, signing a minor league deal. He would crack the Major League club. He would go on to help them win the National League East title, pitching 136 and 2/3 innings in 2018, and pitched another 2.83 ERA. So he had some. Again, I feel like he was just always very, very overlooked. And of course, that led him to getting a multi-year deal with a 2-year deal with the Nationals, $19 million. And the first season was solid. 30 starts, a 3.85 ERA. They made the playoffs as a wild card club and embarked on a run to the first World Championship that season in 2019. He was a productive number 4 starter, going 7 2/3 scoreless innings to stake Washington to a series lead against the Cardinals in the first game of the National League Championship Series. Sanchez, though, started posting middling numbers during the shortened season, and he sat out the entire 2021 season. He would return last year to help out with the rebuilding Nationals with a 4.28 ERA in 14 outings. It was a respectable finish to a lengthy career with very, solid numbers. He was a career 4.06 ERA, which I think is pretty darn good, over 2,000 big league innings. He had 7 seasons with 100-plus innings and fewer than 4 earned runs per 9. He had a total of 116 games won and struck out just a little under 1,800. He also chipped in a 2.93 ERA and 61 1/3 innings in the postseason across 3 different franchises, helping 2 teams to a pennant and 1 to a World Series championship. And, again, Anibal Sanchez, definitely a very underrated player for sure. He definitely was never really an ace. I mean, at the beginning of his career, he did finish 4th in the Cy Young Award voting. But he was like a number 3 or 4 starter most of the way through his career. He was a reliable arm, any of the clubs that had. Yeah, he had a couple of injuries that kind of hurt him a little bit with the Tigers. But again, bouncing back with the Braves and finishing up with the Nationals, I give him credit. He definitely was a contributor to many teams. And Matt Harvey, I hope he as well enjoys his retirement. So that's going to do it for these couple of retirements that I wanted to mention for baseball. Matt Harvey and Anibal Sanchez. What are your guys' thoughts on these retirements? Make sure you guys do your thoughts down in the comments section below. And be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93. Also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And until guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch y'all later. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself.